Hi crafters, Kathy from Scrap and Bean, and today I am breaking open a stencil that I haven't used before, but I want to play with it, so play along with me. Whenever I get either a new stencil or a new stamp, I like to come up with 2 or 3 different looks, or different ways of using it, because I like to get a variety rather than just using a product in one way and using it over and over again. I like to see what I can get for either using a portion of it or using it in a different way. So I'm going to do, for the first thing, just a 6x6 card, because that's a 6x6 stencil. So it fits on there just perfectly. I'm going to use some of this Pixie spray. And I'm just going to spray this off camera. And what that does is kind of make it, maybe a little bit like a Post-it note, I guess. That it'll stick onto my paper, but to hold it in place. But it will also come off very easily. And then Stencil Butters. That's what I've pulled out because I absolutely love them. They're nice and creamy, just like butter frosting. They just go on so nice. So I am going to try a little bit of this white pearl in the center. We're going to see what happens, but kind of the look I wanted to go for was if I put a little bit of white in the center and then put other colors around it, maybe this white would get it to make it look a little more pastel. We'll see what happens. So you can see this is not following the design or anything. It's just going over the center, roughly the center area. That's a good portion of it. Okay, so I'll put the rest of it in there. And I may have a little baby white here that I can just kind of clean. Put most of it in the jar that I can. The rest of it, I'll just kind of clean that off. They're going to mix together a little bit anyways, but we'll start with a clean palette knife. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this turquoise and put this along the edge, but also have it kind of blend in with that white there, or the pearl. See what happens. This could be a total fail. And again, I'm going to wipe that off. And maybe I'll use this one, fuchsia. That was my favorite color of crayons in the old Crayola set as a kid. Oh no, it was magenta, but it was very close to this color, but it was called magenta. Maybe I should just do these 2 colors everywhere. I was going to introduce a 3rd color, but I think I'll just stick with 2. Okay, now I'm mixing them together, so we'll get a little bit of a different color. And the pearl is mixing in there. So you get a little bit of a combination. We'll just see what happens here. And I want to go back with this one just for down in this corner here. Alrighty. And now let's try the reveal. I know it looks like a hot mess now, and maybe it'll stay a hot mess even when I lift it up, but let's just see. Okay, kind of cool. I like the mixture of colors going on. So I'm just going to set that aside and let it dry. I do like that because this stencil fits perfectly onto a 6x6 and it gives you this little white border around the edge. I like that look. Okay, so this time I thought I would try pretty much the same thing, but instead of white paper, I'm starting off with black cardstock. Again, I have used the Pixie spray so that my stencil is nicely stuck down to my cardstock. And for the stencil butter, this one's actually not stencil butter. Same company, but called modeling paste. But I wanted to try this color, Copper Penny, because I think that would look really nice against the black. I think that would give it a sharp look, so let's try. And of course, I'm just going to use the one color. Whoops, and I just smeared it. If you don't like the look of multiple colors combining together, then one color is one way to go and avoid that other look. And I'm really making a mess here, but that's okay. I'm a messy crafter. Get that last little bit there. Yeah, I think I have it all covered. I'm just gonna take off some of this excess because it doesn't need to be as thick as I've got it. Now, I will tell you, normally when you play with stencils and paste, the less times you go like this over the stencil, the better chance of having a good image. The more you're working your paste or your stencil butter or whatever medium you're using, the more you work it, the more likely it is to get some of it sneaking underneath the stencil so that you don't get the clear image of your stencil on there. I worked this one quite a bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of it snuck under on me. But that's okay. So now we do this fun part of the reveal to see what does it actually look like. I like that. Ooh, I like that Copper Penny against black. So nice. Okay, what would happen? I don't really have a piece of cardstock here ready, but here's a piece of black. Like, there's quite a bit on there. What, you know, okay, this this might be garbage, but I'm just going to try it. What happens if, is there a way to capture that? This isn't really the right size. Okay, it's less than 6 inches. Smaller than my stencil, but I just want to see, can I wipe some of that off there? Can I press it off? Get it to go onto my cardstock at all? Kind of to get the negative on there. No, that doesn't work at all. Okay. But we do have this, and I like that. Okay, so this time I'm going to play with a little bit of mixed media paper. So I'm using this Vicki Boutin mixed media paper. It's white and it's nice and heavy. It's heavier than cardstock, plus because it's mixed media paper, it is made to hold fluid things a little bit better, so your paper doesn't disintegrate on you when it gets too fluid. So I'm going to try, maybe I should have, I'm going to have a second, what am I going to do? I'm going to have a second piece ready here, just in case. Pull up my sleeves, because this could get messy. And just going to squirt some of this shimmer. So this is the London Blue Dilution Shimmer Spray. So it's not only a spray, but it's got this nice, real nice shine to it. And it'd be a good idea to be spraying this onto something that you're going to throw away, or a cardboard box. I think I should, for a little bit of ease of cleanup, put a little paper towel under it. That would be a better idea, right? And let's get a little messy. Supposed to hear the little metal ball in there. Okay, well, we'll try it. No, it's working. I'm just going to sop up a little bit of that excess. And then we can do our reveal. I wonder, I have some of this. Can I add another color? Okay, this one, my color is out, Calypso Teal. I'd love to have some of it on there because it's beautiful. But I got like nothing left in there. Maybe I can get a squirt out. No, it's like almost empty. Maybe I can get a couple of splatters. There's just so little left. But at least they'll give me a little bit of a difference. I don't think I can even get any more splatters out of there. Few splats. Added a little bit of difference of color. Now I wonder though, should I add in some purple? Maybe not as a spray, but maybe just adding some more splatters. Not getting it over there where I want it, yeah. Okay, so there's a little bit on there. Just to add a little bit of difference of color. Now you could wait and let that dry, but of course I don't have a lot of patience, so we'll just dry it up. Now you can really see the purple. And there we go, totally different look. So that's spraying through the stencil. Now, how about if I want to try this? Maybe put some paste. I just love using the Stencil Butters, so I'm going to try putting that through. Now I've got a little bit of color on my stencil, and I'm okay if that kind of mixes in with my Stencil Butter. So I'm not going to clean it because some of that color can just bleed onto there, and that's okay. You see where I got a little purple going on there. That's all right. Oh, I just picked the stencil up there. It's not very good. And now for the reveal. It's not going to show much because it's white on white, although that might be kind of cool too. So here's an observation. You can see, I mean, the white on white is kind of It's kind of cool actually, because one's pearlized. But you can see a little bit of color in there where the spray came off my stencil. So it may even be an interesting idea to spray your stencil and then do them. Maybe we'll have to try that and just let lots of color come off in there. Okay, so now that we've got this white pearl paste on there, I'm going to try some spraying. I'm going to do some overspraying. I call it spraying, but really it's kind of just making a mess here. But let's try some purple. Ooh. Okay, let's try. I'm going to try and get a little bit of this blue out of here. Not much in there. And maybe just a squirt of this darker blue. London blue. Yeah, it's a little bit dark, but kind of fun. I think I need some more purple. How do you know when to stop, eh? When it's too late and you've gone too far, then you know it was time to stop. And I'd kind of like to pat it dry, but my paste isn't dry. Actually, I'll just have to use a heat gun. So now that I've dried it with a heat gun, you can see this maybe up a little close. I really like how that comes out with the shimmer. So the modeling paste itself has a white shimmer to it, and then the sprays have shimmers to them. Yeah, I really like how that came out. So there is a few different looks, but let's try some more. I got to try some more with these sprays because I really am liking it. And actually I like this color combination. Even just with the two, I think would look good, but I kind of like that blue in there. We'll see what happens with this one. I'll start with the light one first, which is almost out. That one's pretty overpowering. And some paper towel. Yeah, and you put the paper towel on there, it really lightens that a lot. But now I can see where I kind of want it to be solid color there instead of kind of the speckles from the spray. So but here's another idea. Let's just pull it off there soaking wet. So yeah, a lot of it'll run, and that's okay. I'm going to go for a different look here. And oh, I see I got some overspray on here. But that's okay. I'm going to take this sprayed up stencil and put that down so that the spray comes off the stencil, and you're kind of, if all goes as I think it will, we'll get the reverse image on here, or the negative image. Yeah, kind of cool. So it's not solid. It's just, and you could put this down again on another one. In fact, I have one here. I'm just going to put that down on there randomly. I don't want it to line up. I just want it to go a different way. Get the last little bit, and actually there's not much on there at all. A few little dots here and there. Okay. And what other colors can we do? Let's try another stencil. We take some other designs. I have this one here called Mini Sea Bubbles, which has nothing to do with floral stuff, but that's okay. And because I'm just going to go for abstract look on this particular one, I'm not even going to use pixie spray or anything. We're just going to get some different designs on there, different colors. Totally switched that up, didn't it? Woo! Okay, now I have this. So here's my thing. If I just find another piece of paper, here we go. Turn that upside down on there. Oh, my poor old paper towel's pretty worn out. I better get another one here. Not worn out, but just full of color. Kind of cool. And I could put this down in my art journal too, just as the beginning of a background, which is kind of what this is. First layer of a background. Okay, and what else can we do with that? I guess we could dry it. So I'm going to take this little mess we got here. Now this is our whole speckled with a few stencils. Put my stencil down on it, and I'm going to put some black gesso on there. Now, this is pretty heavy gesso, but we're going to see what happens. I'm using this heavy gesso as if, oh, there it's just as if it's flying here. I don't know where it ended up. I'm kind of using it like a paste. Thin gesso may not work the same, but heavy gesso should give me a look kind of like a paste. And I think this technique may look better if I had really bright colors of paint underneath it. Okay, let's see what happens here. I like to keep my lids on. A whole nother different look. Whole different look. So you can see some of the colors coming through behind the black. And I think this would be more dramatic if the colors I used behind there were even brighter. So I may have to try that again with some really bright colors. Okay, now we're getting into the serious stuff. Some of my favorites are the Fresco Paints. I picked out some nice bright colors there. And this one's opaque, so I'm going to put it down first. And again, I'm just using that Vicki Boutin, what do you call it? Mixed media paper. And I'll put this on with a brayer. Just very, very random. And we'll do this one's semi-opaque, so I'll do that next. Just going to put it, or some of this is blank. That's maybe a little too much. And a little bit of the yellow. Just trying to cover up the white there. And what doesn't show? Pink. So we'll do a little bit of pink over here where it's a tiny bit of white left. Okay, so we got a hot mess with some bright colors there. Kind of think I need more pink. Pink is not showing up much. Oh, it's opaque too. Just due to the colors underneath it, I guess. There, that's brighter. Oh yeah, I like that. I like it, so I need some more. That's lots. I'm going to repeat my green. Whoa, I so did not want that much. Okay, can I put a little bit back in there? Yeah, that's better. And this is called slime. So sometimes you spill it or spill out too much, slime happens. Oh yeah, that's getting brighter. So maybe now that I went to that trouble to put some back in the bottle, I'll take some more out. Okay, but be a little more careful, Kathy. It doesn't have to be that messy. I'm just a messy crafter tonight. There's a little bit more, and then I hardly have any yellow left. Now this one's translucent, so I should be able to see the other colors underneath it still. Okay, now we got us some bright, bright colors. And this won't take long to dry because it's chalk paint and it dries real quick. And I'm going to do another one with, I think, just what color? Just lime green underneath it. I could use a paintbrush for this too, because I'm just wanting this whole piece to be lime green this time. Or what other little color happens to be coming off my paper towel onto it. A little bit more. It's a cold, cold night out in Alberta tonight, so this is a good, perfect weather to be inside experimenting with fun, bright colors. Whatever makes you happy, right? Bright colors has not always been my thing, but lately I'm quite enjoying them. Alrighty. So it's mostly all slime green, but I've got some other colors on there that I might have picked up off my brayer, picked up off my paper towel, and I'm okay with that because look what we're going to try next. So I've put my stencil over top of my, well, I can show you here. This is the green painted mixed media paper. Put my stencil over top of it. I don't have it right to the edges here. Maybe I should fix that. If I set it on there perfectly square, I can use the green edge as a border. If it's not square, I got some sticking out there, then I'll just trim it afterwards. That's fine. So I'm going to put the black gesso on there again. Now, if I had black modeling paste, that would be ideal. But I don't have any here at home with me at the moment, so I'm going to use this heavy gesso because it does seem to work. But the modeling paste would go on there easier. I wouldn't need to work it quite as much. Especially if you use stencil butter. Oh, it just goes on there so smooth. It's quite yummy. When you're doing something this messy, you know, you got all your stuff out, you got your mess out, might as well do lots. Same size mess if you do 1 or you do 10. Okay, so what's underneath this hot black mess? Check this out. Okay, I like that. So 1 color of paint, very cool. I like that. Now, this one here where we did a couple colors, 3 colors of paint. I'm going to try that. Get my stencil down there first. Now, put some black gesso. Oh, my stencil, I didn't get it down there very good. Well, we'll see what happens. Things don't always have to be perfect. So, you know, if you do a large size like this, and say right here, it looks like my stencil's not down. So If I lift it up and it's kind of blurry there, instead of being a nice black, you know, instead of the lines being nice and sharp, well, that's, you just put your sentiment there, or your embellishment there, or a piece of ribbon there. It can be salvaged. And here we go, the reveal with multiple colors. Okay, so let's have a bit of a recap from my now well-loved and dirty stencil. Oh, this side looks a little bit cleaner. What a fun stencil, and I'm not done using it yet, but I am for this video. So here is one of the designs. This was black, black heavy gesso over top of paper that had some random sprinkles and sprays of colors. Actually, maybe I can... Okay, I'm trying to zoom in. Instead, I shut it off. So you can see some of the colors showing through there. Some blues and some purples. We did one with brighter colors, right? Here's one where it's just some sprays, so it ends up, you don't quite see the design as well, but lots of shimmer. Love those shimmer sprays. This is with a couple of different stencils on top of each other, just making a random good start for background for mixed media. Here's one where he did a couple color sprays. You watched all these happen, and then this one had the pearl, actually the pearl stencil butter, white pearl was on first, and then the sprays on top. I like that one, and it's got, you know, that nice shimmer in there as well. And if this was mounted onto some white cardstock, I think that would be really striking to have a white matting around it. Here's just by cleaning off the stencil. Get a different look as well. Here's a different color of stencil butter. This is the copper penny over black cardstock. Really like that look. And you can see the stencil butters have some real shimmer to them. Yeah, those are beautiful. Here's some more stencil butters. A couple different colors over white. And again, you can see the shimmer of those stencil butters. Quite like those. Well, you got some different color combinations going on. And then just over some chalk paints. This is using one color chalk paint, and this is using a few colors of chalk paints, and then the stencil over it with some black gesso. Now you could do the stencil over it with just black paint as well. That would work. And I think it would be fun to try it over some pattern paper, especially with some bright patterns in it, and then put the black over it so you just see some bright patterns through it. So I hope you will give this or any of the stencils that you have some love and some fun, and just get them out and play and see what you can create. Happy crafting! And here's a look at some of those images we did made into a finished card. So this one, I've just tied a ribbon on it and put it on a card. Having the 6x6 stencil with a little bit of a border on it just left me a nice white matting around my image, so that was just super easy. And now I can just put a die cut of a sentiment on there, whatever I like. This one here is almost the same, except that I took the image and just sliced it into 3 pieces, and then I mounted it on top of some pink foil cardstock, so you can see that shine on there. And that one too is just ready for a sentiment, or it could be left as it is without a sentiment as well. This one, I really like how that one turned out with the stencil butter, the white stencil butter and the pearl, and then the Dilution sprays over it, and the sprays have some sparkle to it, and I really like how that came out. So I added some extra sparkle by matting that with some glitter paper, just to help bring out some more shine on there. This was the white on white, which I find quite elegant. I like the white on white. I ended up putting a smear of some color or something on one piece of it. So here's where I just put a stripe over it, and now my sentiment can go right on top of there. So that's how you can hide something with, if it doesn't turn out the way you want, put your sentiment, put a strip of cardstock, put a ribbon, And this one, of course, looks undone because it is. It needs a word sentiment on top of that strip, and then it'll be finished. Here's the one where it was just cleaning off a stencil. So I didn't get very much image on there at all, but I think with a sentiment on there, and it might help if I actually had it so the flowers were growing up that way. And you can see here I've got a, I don't know what on there, something. So the sentiment needs to cover that piece of it too. But that'll add some beauty to it. And then here's one where we had the black over top of a color. I've just matted it onto purple, but this could also be matted it onto white. Would look nice. And then a bit of a sentiment if you want on there. This is one where I had a blob or something that didn't turn out, so I just sliced off the piece that I thought did turn out with some nice sparkly colors there. And then this can have a sentiment going down on the blank area. So you can always just salvage a piece even if the whole image doesn't turn out the way that you want it. So there's a few ideas.